This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at CES 2013. Now, each year we look for something interesting. There's always the standard play on, or the standard fare on the exhibit floor, but we always look for something new, something different. And this year we seem to be lucking out. So joining me is Charlene Coleman and her husband, is it? Yes. And her husband, Michael Coleman, who have the startup for a product called Game Skunk by Sensory Acumen. Welcome to the program, Charlene.
Thank you.
Now, what does this product do?
Basically, it emits a scent based on video game play. So if you had a video game that in this one in particular, this is a video game called Virtual Iraq, and it takes you through the scenes of going through Iraq, walking the streets, or shooting, or explosions. Like there's a fire here, so there's smoke, and you would smell the smoke from this one. And then if you're riding around a Humvee, you might smell gasoline. If they're shooting, you might smell the gunpowder. You might smell that kind of firecracker smell that you get after you shot a gun. So, or you might be smelling the food smells when you're walking through the streets of Iraq. So there's a variety of different smells that you would have going through this particular.
So that's very interesting. So while you're playing the game, in addition to seeing the environment, hearing the environment, you can actually smell the environment as well.
Yes, yes. So beyond this, there's other things that you can do. You can do training, like for fire department, you can train them to smell smoke or different kind of smells, chemical smells that they might smell in a fire. And then from a consumer gaming perspective, you could do a cooking game. You could smell cook something and then smell the food that you just cooked, or smell the ingredients that you had put in your meal.
So why don't we give this a try? Maybe you could instruct your husband to sample, give us a sampling, so see how it works.
Okay. So right now you're going to have an IED blow up in the scene coming up. So now you have the smoke smell from that one, and you should be smelling smoke right now.
So this machine is actually pumping out air as we're talking, and maybe you could elaborate what's happening inside that machine.
So there's a cartridge with the smoke smell in there. The machine has 12 cartridges in it, and you would pop in out whatever scent that you want, and it goes through a chamber, and then it'll come out here, and it gets pumped by a compressor.
Okay. So is it like one smell per cartridge, or do you...
One smell per cartridge, and you can release more than one cartridge at a time. And then we've also had some custom combination cartridges.
It's definitely getting smoky in here. Does it? I know the product is called Game Skunk, but does it have pleasant smells as well?
Yes, we have. Well, we have access to 30,000, so you can imagine anything you want. So we have like chocolate, we have lemon, we have floral scents, and anything that you can imagine, we can recreate.
Now, you mentioned, it's very intriguing that it has training purposes as well. I mean, we're in this time now where there's this resurgence in virtual reality. I don't know if you've heard of like the Oculus Rift, and of course there's other HMDs and all kinds of things to make, games or computers ultra realistic, so that we can almost simulate real life. And this kind of ties into that. Do you see that outside of the gaming world, do you see applications for helping people?
Sure. In terms of training, like I was mentioning before, you could have firefighter training where they would smell smoke or get chemical smells that they should be aware of that might pose a threat to them. So as a new firefighter, they could be trained on something like that. You can also have training for doctors, like in a surgical center. What would be the smells that you might smell, while you're performing surgery? So there's another application if you're doing treatment for substance abuse. So if a person is an alcoholic or they have a drug problem, and there's these environments that they might be in that triggers them to use. So if they go in a bar, you're going to smell smoke in a bar. You're going to smell maybe beer or whatever else is there, maybe pretzels. So there's a lot of things that a therapist can treat people for.
Do you think there's an application when dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome? Is there a fit for something like this?
Well, that's this particular application. So a vet who's suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder would go through a virtual reality setting, which is pretty much this video game, and they'll walk through the streets of Iraq, and things will happen in the game. So you'll have like them shooting right here, so you might smell gunpowder, you might smell that firecracker smell that once you shot a gun. You'll smell things like the smoke. You might smell gasoline. You might smell the food smells, like if they're walking through the street, you'll smell restaurant food smells, or just people cooking in their homes.
Is it a goal to desensitize people?
This one is particular after they've been deployed, they've been to Iraq, and they come back. If they have the disorder, then it's a treatment. You can go the opposite way before they're deployed, but I'm not an expert in that, so I can't speak to.
The reason I ask is I know, I work at the University in Ontario, University of Ontario Institute of Technology, and there is an interest in helping people who are suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome to actually create virtual environments, to gradually desensitize people to the the traumas of war. So I thought this was really a direct application to that.
Desensitize them, but I also they might want to bring back that memory so that they can treat that particular memory. So say you have the disorder and you're walking down the street and you might smell like gasoline, and that might trigger something. So if the psychologist can be there while that's triggered, they know how to treat it. You know what I mean?
Excellent. Now, 30,000 smells. I gather there's some cartridge swap. How many cartridges fit in this at a time?
12. There's 12 in this one.
Okay, so there's a lot of variability. Now, is this product readily available?
It's readily available for the medical market. We're going to go to the consumer market as soon as we get the production levels up, and we'll go to consumer.
And how much can we expect to spend on a unit?
I'm trying to get it under 100 for the consumer market.
Now, the cartridges, do they last forever, or do they get replaced? How does that work?
If you don't use a cartridge at all, it will last you at least a year. And I'd say if you are a hardcore gamer, maybe playing 4 hours a day, 3 to 4 months.
Okay. And how much do you anticipate the cartridges costing to replace?
Around 20.
20 per cartridge or for a pack?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's per cartridge?
Yes.
And now, obviously, the odors are pungent. Something's happening that it's translating the cartridges into something that we could breathe in. Is it safe?
It's safe because we work with a fragrance and flavor developer, and they have FDA regulations that they have to adhere to. So they don't make anything that's carcinogenic or anything that would hurt you. You might have allergies, so if you're allergic to something, you might want to stay away from a particular scent. If you have like sinus issues, I think you just want to check with your doctor if that. But the scents are safe.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you both for joining us. Very interesting stuff, and I hope you go far with this. This is Neil Schneider, MTBS-TV, CES 2013. Smell you later.